So today we're going to take a look at what's going to happen if Indonesia tries to form an empire in 2024. Now this video is going to be very unrealistic. All the events that are going to happen are purely fictional. But yeah, let's see what happens if Indonesia tries to form an empire in 2024. Let's see who they declare war on, how they expand and all those other stuff. But yeah, before we get into this video, first of all, I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel. And yeah, secondly, even though I should not be talking about this, but I'm like really sick right now. I don't know how the hell I'm going to be able to edit this video. But you know, I'm just gonna try my best because I can never stop uploading for you guys. But with all those unnecessary things said, let's get right into the video now. Now we recently made a video about Australia forming an empire, and that video actually got a lot of views. That was pretty nice. And Indonesia is also in the same region, so it's gonna be a little bit similar to that video, except Indonesia has a lot of population and they're capable of even achieving more. So yeah, the first thing that they're gonna be doing is, of course, they're gonna be militarizing their country. That's the only way that they can form an empire, because if they want to expand, then they're gonna have to fully focus on their military. And by the way, Indonesia's military right now is actually pretty good. They have a very formidable army right now. Their military is doing great. They have a huge population, so it's gonna be a bit easier for them to form an empire now. But yeah, after a few years of militarization and after having a prepared military, we can see that the Indonesians are ready for their first military campaign. But once again, we can see that they are recruiting troops from all over the country. And the first country that they're going to be declaring war is going to be Malaysia, for obvious reasons. So let's see. We can see that the Indonesians now push into Malaysia from the western parts. They also push in from the east, securing some of these regions. But their main goal is to get to the capital city of Kuala Lumpur, which is on the west side. They eventually take the capital city of Kuala Lumpur. The western half surrenders. These troops also push around, but the Malaysians, after realizing that they cannot win this war, go ahead and surrender. And this was a decisive victory for the Indonesian Empire. And in a peace negotiation, we can see that all of Malaysia got completely annexed by the Indonesian Empire. The Indonesians are going to do two more things. They're going to be sending some ultimatums now, demanding these countries' annexation. The first country was Singapore. They accepted the ultimatum, even though they're not visible on this map, but they're there. The second country, of course, was Brunei, and the third country was East Timor. And so all of the micronations do not exist anymore. But this is just the start of the Indonesian expansion. They have the potential to expand even more. They can just spread their population. And guys, when I say they have a huge population, I mean it. This island alone has more population than this entire country, which is Russia. So yeah, don't underestimate the Indonesian population. But after a few more years of militarization and stuff, the Indonesians are ready for their second military campaign. For this one, we can see that they declare war on Papua New Guinea. We can see that the Indonesian military now pushes into Papua New Guinea, easily taking all of these parts. And they're going through as if there is no one defending these places. Just because their military was so good, they were able to take a lot of major cities down the coast, which also included the capital city of Papua New Guinea. These remaining parts go ahead and surrender, and Papua New Guinea too gets completely annexed by the Indonesian Empire. And now some of these countries are getting really worried because of the Indonesian expansion. Okay, so it takes them a few more years, and in all these years they'd been working on their navy. They now have a very nice fleet. I think it's a bit better than where they started. So yeah, right now they're going to be sending some more ultimatums. These ultimatums are sent to all of these Pacific islands. All these guys accept the ultimatums, and after preparing for a few more years, we can see that the Indonesians are ready for their next war, which is going to be against Thailand, as they want to continue their expansion up north. So let's see. Immediately we can see that the Indonesian troops are now pushing into Thailand, and they were easily able to secure this tail. They push up from this choke point. More and more troops arrive on the front lines. We can see that one army is now pushing towards the Thai capital of Bangkok, and unfortunately for Thailand, they lost their capital city. These troops push around and they secure all of these regions. But after all of this chaos, we can see that the remaining parts of Thailand just go ahead and surrender. And then in a peace negotiation, we can see that all of Thailand got completely annexed by the Indonesian Empire. And Thailand was basically a very strong country, the strongest one which they've been up against by now. So this was a huge achievement for the Indonesian military, and this also opened the gates to Southeast Asia, as from Thailand they can conduct future military campaigns in this region. So things are going pretty well for the Indonesian Empire. But right now they're not going to be focusing in Southeast Asia. Instead, with their newly built navy, they're going to put it to test, and they're going to be doing so by declaring war on New Zealand, which is a bit far away. But as I said, they want to test out their navy. So let's see. We can see that the Indonesian navy has now arrived on the coast of New Zealand. They make a naval landing right here, and they easily took out the capital city. These parts Empire surrender. They also start pushing down, but New Zealand does not have a good military at all, and so they go ahead and surrender. New Zealand too gets completely annexed. After a few years of the New Zealand invasion, the Indonesians turn their focus back to Southeast Asia, where they have another country that they want to invade. This time that is going to be Cambodia. But Cambodia, after seeing the military size of Indonesia, surrenders without a fight. Now this may sound embarrassing, but that was a good decision. That was pretty easy. But again, we can see that the Indonesians were focusing most of their money into their navy, and they had a plan to take out a major country. That country was the Philippines. The Philippines is very strong. They too have a very good population. Their military is good too. But yeah, still, the Indonesians were preparing for years, and after all of this time, we can see that the Indonesians finally declare war on the Philippines. And guys, let me tell you this, the Indonesians were fully prepared, whereas the Philippines was caught off guard. So let's see. We can see that the Indonesians make a naval landing up in the north, and they start to push around. Unfortunately for the Philippines, they lost their capital city. The northern island surrenders. They also make a naval landing on this island, taking it out. And from here, they make multiple naval landings. And at this point, the Philippines realizes that they cannot win this war, which leads to their surrender. And then Philippines too got completely annexed. And pretty much now most of Southeast Asia is under the Indonesian control. They send another ultimatum. This time they send it to Laos, and not surprisingly at all, they accept it. This is what Southeast Asia looks like now. But yeah, to finish things off in Southeast Asia, we can see that the Indonesians now declare war on Vietnam. And oh boy, things are not looking good for Vietnam, as we can see that instead of pushing in directly, the Indonesians use their navy. They make a naval landing in the north, and they start to push around. The front lines were broadened, and unfortunately for Vietnam, they lost their capital city in this initial attack. The northern part surrender. The troops in the south now push in, taking out the entire region, until after years of fighting, all of Vietnam is under the Indonesian control. And yeah, Vietnam was the final country that they were going to invade in Southeast Asia. They don't want to invade Myanmar because they don't want a border with India. They kind of want it to be a buffer state, and this is what the Indonesian empire looks like right now. Now guys, they do have a final country to invade right here, which is going to be Australia, but I really don't have the strength to animate this one because the Australian-Indonesian war is going to be very long. I'll have to animate all of that, which is going to be a little difficult for me because I'm really not feeling good right now, as you can tell by my voice. So instead, what we're going to be doing is we're just going to jump to the results, where of course the Indonesians are going to win this war for obvious reasons. You know, they have a better navy, a better military, more troops, so this is going to happen. But Australia is not going to get completely annexed. All of these regions got completely annexed. The remaining country of Australia was released. And yeah, this is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys want to see in the future. And thank you for watching.